the script and the autobiography were the cornerstone of my work. Patsy seemed to have left a very indelible mark on Solomon because he wrote very specifically about her, and I got a lot of good clues as to who she was. But other than that, one of the things that I did was I went to the Blacks in Wax Museum in Baltimore, and I walked in, and the very first thing that met my eye was 500 pounds of cotton. And that's what Patsy picked every day. And I stood there, and it was taller than me, and it was thicker than me, and it was wider than me, and I was just met with her loftiness right there. And you know, it was so important for me to see it physically, to understand how lofty this woman was, because cotton is so light, you know. And other work, you know, to find a specific vocal posture and all that. But about a week before we started filming, I was daydreaming in my hotel room about what Patsy could have done with those nimble fingers that picked 500 pounds of cotton. What else she could have done to perhaps bring her some sort of comfort, because she seemed to me to have something artistic about her. And I remembered that Epps grew corn on his plantation, so it occurred to me, oh, what if she made crafts out of corn husk? And so I immediately went on the World Wide Web to look and see whether it was historically accurate, and it was, that slaves really did make crafts out of corn husk. And there was always a childlike quality I wanted to embody, express with Patsy, because her master takes a sexual interest in her so early and robs her of her childhood. And so I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice for her to make corn husk dolls for the children on the plantation? And I was so excited about it, and it was really just going to be my secret. I was just going to know that's what happens on Sundays. But the next day, I was talking to Steve. We met up and we were talking. And one of the wonderful things about working with Steve is that in these sessions of just discussion, he asks questions rather than like describing to you what he's thinking and stuff. So he asked me just what I was thinking, and I offered it up to him, and he loved the idea and immediately got the art department to supply me with corn husk, and I got to work making those dolls. And in the way that he uses the corn husk doll making, it's an externalization of the part of Patsy that couldn't be enslaved, And what I learned from playing this role and from visiting this time is that freedom is a human instinct, that you don't have to be born free to know what it is and to want it and desire it.
Is there anything you want to add?
I obviously read the book, which was very helpful to me. I too tend to kind of really go off the text as the most sort of like a springboard for me, and also for me it's about, for me with this character in particular, was about her physicality and her rigid quality, her sort of immovable. I believe there was a lot going on underneath and behind that, but there was Steve came up with an image that was very, very helpful to me, which is that she was like a doll, a figurine on top of a cake, and that and he was always like, chin up, there was like and it made me just, physically, I held my body in the way the corset helped, obviously, but it kind of, also, it was, as Chiwetel was saying, it was so oppressively hot. But I don't think Mistress Epps was one to ever kind of find herself doing any kind of work of any kind at all. So I would often sort of take to, the inside of the Felicity plantation, I think was sort of where we were the most for the Epps plantation. But I didn't really spend a lot of time hanging outside on the porch. I would go inside. And the house was completely empty and hollowed out and all that. But yeah, for me it was more of a physical thing that I tried to.
That was something that occurred to me as well when we were sort of filming. The idea that obviously you have the slaves that are working like and toiling in this heat, and it's like not a sort of minute for themselves to spare. And then you have the plantation owners, bored, you know, and it's almost like fermenting in their own madness. Well, certainly Epps. And well, how, you know, what do they do to fill in the day? And that was something that was a very powerful thing, you know, the sort of almost like, you know, idle hands or the devil's hands. And I kind of thought, you know, with Epps sort of, you know, drinking and just sort of saturating in his own sort of, you know, psychotic behavior. It was the hours, what to do with the hours. And it was kind of interesting. Also, the fact that he always wanted to be with the slaves, even on their day off. You know, he's going into their quarters and rousing them out of their beds and getting them to come into the house. It was a very strange relationship that he had, and this sort of almost like needing to be with them all the time. I thought that was something that really stuck out from the script with me, that he had this dependency on them, obviously beyond the economic dependency, this sort of emotional dependency.
This movie looks so beautiful, and it is so epic in scope. I'm kind of shocked to understand that the budget was not that high. And can you speak to the budget and how many shooting days you had?
We had 35 shooting days. We only shot it on one camera. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means, because I never, you know, just do stuff, you know, shoot it and make decisions. But I mean, it's one of those things where what I'm most grateful for, I mean, when you talk about the actors, is that I was sort of working with the best actors for the job.